Alright, so this is tube 15. Our instrument is a recorder, and I will play Jingle Bells with it. Alright, so we modeled our instrument off of an open-ended tube. As you can see here, in an open-ended tube, the wavelength that corresponds to the frequency is 2 times the length of the tube. And every time we put a hole in the tube, it's like shortening the tube. And so in order to calculate the frequency that corresponds to the wavelength, we did these calculations.
So to calculate the spacing of the holes on the tube so that we could change the frequency of the note that is made, we know that our wavelength is equal to velocity over the velocity of sound over the frequency of the sound that is being made. And we know that the length of the tube is the wavelength divided by 2. So we can simply sub in and find the length of the tube at the fundamental frequency, which in our case happened to be E at 390 Hertz, and then we can go from there to calculating the frequencies and therefore the lengths of the holes on and along the tube.
Old model of our instrument when it used to be a flute before it became a recorder. As you can see, it is much longer than our version we're using now, which is sort of its base area, and we decided to shorten the length in the final product because we wanted to raise the frequency of the instrument, and we also wanted to, because the longer sort of length would have given it a lower baseline frequency. As you can also see, there are sort of multiple holes that aren't really evenly spaced. They're a little scattered, and some holes are bigger than others. This is because we were following an old sort of model for flute making, but we realized that in order to have our sound sort of emit properly, we needed to change the sort of schematic in which our holes were drilled.
Additionally, we changed the mouthpiece of the instrument. Before we were using a mouthpiece we created. It wasn't working for a large variety of reasons, and so we switched things up, made it into a recorder, and then from there we added some tape around different parts to decrease leaks. The holes were also smaller to decrease leaks while playing it. In addition, we added a tunable portion, so we can make a modular tunable by taking this piece off and adding more pieces here. That changes the length, which changes the frequency, so a longer instrument would make a longer frequency. And additionally, we made the tube itself thinner. This was to amplify the sound more when it was released.
So as you can see, this is now a recorder instead of a flute.